going to tell you the first story. The circumstances described in this first interview happened within the last few years.
I was at a wedding. It's a family friend, drinking obviously all day. Girl meets boy, girl goes back to hotel room, consenting adults, use protection, but it obviously didn't work. I suppose it was a few weeks later I wasn't feeling 100%. Because we had used protection, I didn't think I needed to go to get the morning after pill. So I kind of didn't think anything of it. And I'd been in the house with my mum and her friend turned around and went, "God, you look great, you're glowing." And I went, "Oh shit." In my head, I said, "Right, I need a pregnancy test. I have to go and figure out what's going on." I didn't want my mum to know. So I did the pregnancy test in the public toilets on my own. And it said 2 to 3 weeks. And I just went, shit, what am I going to do? And the first thing that came into my head was an abortion. I can't have a child. I'm not ready. I don't have a partner. I have a job, but it's not a stable job. I can just about support myself. I still live with my mother. Like, I didn't want a child for a start.
So absolutely clear from the start.
Oh yeah. The minute I found out, I was like, termination, not keeping. My mind didn't process that I would keep it.
Some people would say, well, if she had been able to get a bit more support, or if she'd been able to think about it, she might have made a different decision.
No. Categorically, no. One of my sisters lives in London, and she'd actually bought me flights for my birthday to go to London.
What was it like for you those days?
Awful, really awful. I just didn't want to be pregnant at all. And it's one of the hardest phone calls I've ever had to make. I had to ring my sister and I had to say, "I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
What do I do?" And she said to me, "You're coming over anyway. We'll get it sorted when you're here." It was just strange knowing that I was pregnant and I didn't want to be pregnant, which was the main thing for me. Luckily enough, I had my friend who was there to support me. I would have been lost without her. She was great. As far as my mum was concerned, or my sister or whatever, I was going for a holiday. Nobody knew apart from my sister and my friend. And I remember sitting on the plane, and the one thing that was going through my head was, if this plane crashes, everyone's going to know I'm pregnant. And I just didn't want that whatsoever. It was the last thing that I wanted. I don't know if it was just that people would be disappointed in me or I'd let people down. I really don't know. I just felt bad and I was pregnant and I just didn't want to be because it was a one-night stand, and I think that's probably where I would think some of the judgment would come in.
And the other party to this one-night stand, did they know?
No.
You've never told
No.
them?
As far as I was concerned, it was none of his business. It was my body, it was my choice. It never came up in my thinking. I suppose I was nervous, anxious, just wanted it to be over with, really. But yeah, I remember sitting in the waiting room and feeling anxious because obviously I'd never had a termination before, so I didn't know what was the protocol. So then I went into the room and they examined me again, and I was worried at that stage they were going to say, "We can't do it," and I was going to go, "Well, you have to do it because I'm only here for a week and this has to be over and done with by the time I go home." But I remember there was 2 foreign girls, and one of them had a leaflet in her hand that said abortion. So I knew that's what she was there for as well. So I think in a way that made me feel a little bit better because I knew I wasn't the only one. I couldn't tell you how long it was before the cramping started, but it got fairly severe. It was quite painful, the cramping. So they had said to me that you will pass the clot, but you might see it. So I actually think I did see it because there was quite a large clot in the toilet at one stage.
And when you saw that clot, what was the feeling?
Relief, possibly. Glad that it was gone. Knowing that it would have worked, I suppose, yeah. Wasn't pleasant. It's painful, and the fact that like I projectile vomited and, you know, felt nauseous and had major cramps in my stomach. So I basically was just in bed to a degree, I was one of the lucky ones that I had somebody that I had a bed to sleep in, and that I didn't have to sit on a plane and come home. To go through that on a plane must be absolutely horrific, and my heart goes out to anybody that does it. Like, it was difficult for me, but I think that has to be 10 times worse. Or even a hotel room has to be bad as well. At least I had the comfort of knowing that I had my sister and it was her home. So there was a homely feeling to it. I think the cramping must have stopped at some stage. I couldn't tell you whether it was that night, whether it was the next day. It's a bit of a blur. It was strange knowing that I'd been through the procedure the day before, but kind of acting as if nothing had happened, because life just went on. I think it was around the anniversary of when I'd had my termination that my sister told me she was pregnant. And I went to pieces. I was happy for her, but it just brought everything back for me that I was like, this time last year, I was pregnant. I don't know whether it was just after that or whether it was a couple of months later. I decided I needed counselling because I hadn't dealt with it, because everything was pushed down. I boxed everything off. My counselling then was also disguised as something else, because I couldn't tell my mum that I was going to counselling now for my abortion. I'm in a better place, but I think to this day I still feel exactly the same way as I did then. That I don't regret it at all. It was the best decision that I could have made for me. Occasionally it would come into my head, I could have a child, but it's a could, it's not I should, I wanted. For me, it just wasn't an option, whether I had the support or not. It's a tough thing to go through, but as I said, I don't have any qualms about what I did. There is still a lot of secrecy within Ireland about it, but I definitely think my counsellor helped a lot with that. The secrecy thing, the judgment thing. Speaking to somebody and know that I wasn't being judged, and being able to tell somebody else so it wasn't a secret again.
So, before we go into the next story, just if you take 2 or 3 minutes on your own just to write your feelings about that. Again, it's confidential, you won't be showing it to anybody, but just where you're at having listened to that. It doesn't need to make any sense, but just, if you can, just write, how has that impacted on you?